Blog Talk Radio.
Dreams. Why do we dream? A message for the ages. So tonight, on Dark Matter Radio, we are going to take a look at why we dream and the freedom of your mind. So why do we dream? There are several hypotheses connected as why we dream. Are dreams merely part of a sleep cycle, or do they serve as some other purpose? Dreams are stories, images of our minds created while we sleep. They are entertaining, fun, romantic, sometimes downright disturbing, frightening, and somewhat bizarre. So tonight, on Dark Matter Radio, why do dreams occur? What causes them? Can we control them? What do they mean? And how is it the freedom of your mind? We also take a look at the pineal gland. And that's when it starts to get interesting. There's been an awakening. Have you felt it? You are listening to Dark Matter Radio with your host, Ronnie McLean. Afternoon and good morning to all those, no matter where you may be around the world. We are talking about dreams tonight and setting your mind free and how dreams work. What are they? Where do they come from? And how are they part of your general psyche? Well, a long time ago, I studied Sigmund Freud. And Sigmund Freud was one of the first people in the 19th century that had studied very frequently and fanatically about dreams. He also had a few hypotheses that surrounded dreams as well, and it dealt with opinions about the meanings of dreams, varied and shifted through the times and cultures. Many endorsed the Freudian and theory of his dream theories, that dreams reveal insight into hidden desires and emotions. Other prominent theories include suggestions that dreams assist in memories and formations, problem solving, or simply a product of random brain activation. The earliest recorded dreams were acquired from materials dating as far back as approximately 5,000 to 10,000 years. In Mesopotamia, where they were documented in clay tablets, and Greek and Roman periods. They also forget about African periods because a lot of that was documented in the Bible as well when you get to a lot of those stories. So recorded dreams as far back as approximately 5,000 to 10,000 years. So people believe that dreams were direct messages from one and or multiple deities or gods. From decreased intentions or cultivating dreams, they are of prophecy. And when you talk about dreams, one of the other things that we're going to be getting into tonight is briefly is the pineal gland. And the pineal gland surrounds a lot between you and the freedom of your mind. Now, when we talk about Sigmund Freud, who developed how can you say it, a psychological discipline of psychoanalysis, and wrote extensively about dream theories and their interpretations in the early 1900s. And his book, The Interpretation of Dreams, and I recommend people to go out to really read that book. It gets into a lot of different things in terms of how dreams, how he processed the study of the dreams. He also explained dreams as manifestations of one's deepest desires and anxieties, often relating to represent childhood memories or obsessions. In the late 19th century, psychotherapist Sigmund Freud developed a theory that the content of the dreams is driven by an unconscious wishful fulfillment. Freud called the dreams a royal road to the unconscious. He theorized that the content of dreams reflect the dreamer's unconscious mind, and specifically that dream content is shaped by unconscious and wish fulfillment. He argued that the importance of the unconscious desires are often related to early childhood memories and experiments. Freud's theories discipline dreams as having both manifest and latent content. The latent content relates to deep unconscious wishes or fantasies, while manifesting content is superficial and meaningless. Interesting. Manifest content and mask or obscures latent content. In his early work, Freud argued that the vast majority of latent dreams contents were more of a sexual nature. But in later works, he moved away from this categorical position, and beyond the pleasure principle, he concerned and he concentrated on how trauma or aggression could influence dreams content. Also discussed the supernatural origins of dreams and occultism, which is where we begin to start getting into the real depths of things. So a lot of his lectures and published in the new introductory lectures of psychoanalysis of inspiration. So a lot of these things, when we begin to start talking about dreams, gets into a lot of religion, gets into a lot of a deep understanding of how our mind is working while we're sleeping. And some of the things that we need to understand about what we dream is a dream can include any of the images, thoughts, and emotions that are experienced during sleep. Now, a lot of the images, they say, are images that you have already have come in contact with. So there's nothing, the dream state uses the subconscious mind that is embedded inside you very deeply, and it pulls out all different types of images in order for you to be able to facilitate the magnificence of the dream state. So there's nothing in your dream. And this is when it becomes a dream, when they're talking about you're working out your problems or you're working out difficulties and stuff like that. There's nothing in a dream that you get that you have not seen before. Now, it gets different because when you start getting into visions and prophecies notions, there's a lot of things that may go on in terms of your dreams that are unrecognizable. We'll get into that when we start talking about the pineal gland. So, when you talk about joyful emotions or frightening imageries, focusing on understandable or unclear and confusing images in your dreams. So while we all dream, what do psychologists have to say about why we dream and the purpose dreams really serve? Well, there's a lot of different thoughts around that. And something I really want to get into and tell you right now is that the dream state in terms of the pineal gland. Now, they didn't really know much about the pineal gland until the 1960s when they started doing autopsies on all types of racial mix-ups and genetic behavior. Meaning that, during the Vietnam War, there was a lot more autopsies that were being done, complete autopsies that were being done on the indigenous American male, the so-called African American, so-called black male. And what they found out is that the pineal glands, almost as a ratio to almost 90%, were a bit different than the pineal glands in any of their other counterparts, which means that the pineal glands and the original indigenous beings, the black people so-called, their pineal glands were not calcified. So calcification can represent a pineal gland that has been attacked or destroyed in some form or way. And in the original indigenous beings, what they found out is that the pineal gland was not calcified. So that goes into a lot. The other thing that they say about the pineal gland is that it's actually kind of like an iris. It's like an eye in the middle of your brain, the size of a pea. So the pineal gland is a gland and is an endocrine gland. Like the pituitary gland, the thyroid gland, the adrenal gland, and the pancreas. Like other endocrine glands, it secretes a hormone. This is important. And the hormone that it secretes, in this case, is melatonin. The pineal gland was the last endocrine gland to have its function unveiled. Well, in modern day and time. We know that the pineal gland, or the third eye, has been mentioned and very much put out there during Egyptian times and beyond that. Very, very strong in Kemet and a lot of different other, what you would now call African areas, and also in ancient Samaria. And also in the lands of what was before Kemet, the pineal gland, the third eye, shaped not unlike an acorn, is something that has a very, very, very deep sensation in culture. So it's only now that they're beginning to start to look into this or divulge into a lot of the different attributes of the pineal gland and what it has to do with our dream state. So there's a lot of psychics, a lot of doctors, a lot of shamans that call the pineal gland the seat of the soul, because it appears to be the only brain structure not composed of two symmetrical parts. Although later analysis proved this to be untrue, what does prove to be true is that it has a very significant function in your connection with your soulful self. And a lot of people say spiritual self. And I'll get into the difference between the spiritual and the soulful. Your soulful self is that burning energy that is inside of you that is called awareness. It is the actual life that is inside you. The spirit is the energy force upon which that gives it life, right? So when you breath the spirit inside of you, the spirit was energy that gave you life. The soul is the awareness of who you are that is connected to your subconscious mind and also has a very deep connection through the pineal gland. So the pineal gland secretes hormones that some people call it hallucinogenic type hormones that give you the appearance that you're hallucinating, or what shamans will tell you that the pineal gland can help you and connect you to what they call the soulful world or to the spiritual world. Help you to be able to contact your angels, help you to be able to perceive the future, help you to be able to connect yourself with the Amen presence, the so-called God presence. I say the Amen presence because that's who the real true God is, the real true creator of all things, the grand architect of the universe, to be able to get you into what they call the universal consciousness. So a lot of people, when they talk about the universal consciousness, they're really talking about being able to connect themselves through the pineal gland and getting into what they call the spiritual world, or entering themselves into what we call the soulful world. So the pineal gland is extremely important in why we dream, how we dream, and how we perceive ourselves in the spiritual world. Now, there's a lot of things that are going on with the pineal gland in terms of it being calcified. And one of the things that does do a lot of calcification of the pineal gland is fluoride. And fluoride, as you know, is in many city drinking waters. Fluoride, as you know, is in all of your toothpaste. Fluoride, as you know, is in a lot of your food. And fluoride, just look up industrial fluoride, which is what they use. It's actually an industrial waste product that the industries were unable to get rid of, so they hired dentists, etc., to say that it was great for your teeth and able to kill, able to stop cavities and very young children between the ages of 0 and 5 or something like that. But it managed to be able to get into the mainstream, and they were able to get this stuff, just a very carcinogenic entity, out of their way without them being fined and putting it into a food source. The other thing about fluoride is what Hitler used on the Jews to make them docile the public, and to take away their will, take away their connection. So when you lose the product, and we'll get more into a pineal gland in another show, because there's a lot more about the pineal gland, the third eye, where it came from, and how it's actually connected to the seat of the soul, and how it makes you more of an empathetic type person and able to feel a lot more about what's going on around you. So it's extremely important when you understand what the pineal gland is and why certain entities or certain things out there may want to try to destroy it. So when we get back into dreams, there's a few facts that we'll go over in terms about dreamings, right? Here are some points about dreams. More details and supporting information is some of the things that we're going to be talking about later on in the program. Though few people may not remember dreaming, it is thought that everyone dreams between 3 to 6 times per night. It is thought that each dream lasts anywhere from 5 to 20 minutes. Around 95% of the dreams are forgotten by some time a person gets out of bed. So by the time they get out of bed, most of the people have forgot about their dreams, or they may have some sort of feelings that they had in their dreams as well. And it might, that feeling that you have will carry along with you maybe throughout the day, maybe throughout the week. And it could be troubling. So women dream more about family, children, indoor settings, and compared to men, as what the studies call. Recalling sometimes from last week that appeared in your dream is called the dream lag effect. So you have to remember that a lot of things that are in your dream has transpired within the last 24 hours, 24 to 48 hours, as they see. And then you get some of the things that might really heavily be embedded in your subconscious mind. Things need to be worked out. You might tend to get things a little longer in terms of a delay factor. And this is why they call it the dream lag effect, right? But a lot of times when you're dreaming, it's helping you to sort through your problems. But 48% of that feature in the dream are recognized by the person dreaming. And again, we went through that before. A lot of the things that you dream are already within your subconscious mind. So your subconscious mind has to dig deep, and sometimes it digs really deep because it can go back to the beginning of when your brain first became active and you began to start recognizing things through sight, and maybe even not through sight, because there's a lot of different ways to be able to see. And this is one of the things that the pineal gland also does. It pulls a lot of the things that are in your deep subconscious mind out to the forefront, and has it to be able to represent some of the things that are going on in your personal life within that past 48 hours, or in that troubling situation that you're trying to work out. So they say that blind people dream more with other sensory components compared to a sighted person. Again, we just got finished talking about that too, because there's more than one way of having sight to a person, and that is through your pineal gland and the other senses that are around you. So if a lot of times when you're studying, like, karate, and you say, they say you're going to fight with your eyes closed, a lot of times what happens is that you're using your perceptions that are around you, your auric field that is around you, to be able to generate a field of vision, to be able to have an understanding what goes on around you. It kind of could be like sonar, how a dolphin uses sonar. It can kind of be something like that when we begin to start getting into being able to see, but not with our own eyes. And again, you get into remote viewing, which is kind of a dreamlike state itself, a little bit different. But remote viewing, with that kind of concept, when you close your eyes, you're not particularly in a REM state, but you are going deep into that close REM type state where where your eyes start flickering back and forth. And as you're doing remote viewing, the eyelids begin to start being used as like a projection screen. And you're able to see things that are very, very far away that you may have never seen before. And this is what you call, again, a type of astral projection. Leaving your body to be able to go out and visit other areas. So that is astral projection. We also have both sleep and dream quality and affected by alcohol. And again, they call that hallucinations and all that other type stuff, right? But again, you have to be careful of these hallucinations, because you have to remember that Aleister Crowley, when he went to the pyramids, he had entered into what you would call a hallucinogenic state, or a very heavy meditated state, and he was able to see entities that were projecting themselves to him in that state. Also, when you begin to start getting into hallucinogenics, one of the things that the military found out was that LSD, which they used for quite some time to produce these hallucinogenic states, which are some of the same properties that you find being secreted out of the pineal gland, and some of the payola, as you would call it, some of the medicine man, or the pipes that the so-called Indians that we know of today smoked in order for them to be able to enter into the spiritual world. Now, they say that these aren't really a dream state, but these are hallucinations. But these hallucinations, to a lot of the people that are in the psychic world, are extremely real, and they're actually contacting entities in either other dimensions or in another dimension of our life. Sometimes they say that this is how they are able to sense, spirits that are around you, and able to get visions. I mean, Nostradamus, he used the black bowl technique. And the black bowl technique is you have a bowl and you put the water in it and you stare into the water, and with a candle on another side. And as you stare into the water, what starts to happening is that you begin to start having visions as well. And again, that's another way of entering into the psychedelic states, as they call them. So there's a lot of different things as to why we dream and how we get along with that and what goes on with that. So it's very important to understand that, everyone is different. Everybody dreams about different things, and sometimes you may have people who are dreaming the same thing. So you may have somebody who is spiritually or psychically connected, and they dream about the same thing, and this is to show that they're receiving some sort of a communication from what they would call the spiritual or the soulful side of things. So there are several hypotheses in connection as to why we dream, and are dreams merely part of a sleep cycle, or do they serve some other purpose? And that's what we're talking about now, right? So dreams serve a lot of different purposes. A lot of times when we're dreaming, what happens is that we are trying to work out specific problems. Now, there's a lot of people, Einstein included, Tesla, um, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, a lot of people who have heightened awareness and are into doing a lot of really serious things. Medgar Evers, um, um, even a lot of preachers, believe it or not. But even yourself, when you really look into your life and the things that you're dreaming about, sometimes your dreams come up and they help you to be able to solve problems. So a lot of times when you're dreaming, your dreams are there to be able to help navigate you through some difficult times and some difficult problems that need to be solved in your life. Now, whether it's a relationship or it's the problem or something, or like a business you're trying to develop, or maybe something in your community or your family, or you're just trying to navigate some relationship issues, a lot of times that dream, those dreams that you begin to start having, have a reflection of the consciousness, the deep consciousness that you're feeling deep down inside, that's coming up to the top, and it's helping you to dig deep, way deep down, and to draw out all those experiences to help you to be able to figure out what's going on. Now, sometimes you might get some weird things happening inside your dreams, such as, you might see a person that might be a representation of something else. But again, you have double representation. So sometimes, a person that you see in your dream might look like a stranger, but that person might be a double representation of the husband that you're with, or the wife that you're with, or the person that you may want to meet, or the person that you have just met. And you're trying to work out that relationship with inside of you. So there's a lot of things in your dreams that you may not particularly understand what's going on with them, but they may have double representations in terms of what the meanings are. Because if you see it, it may actually, if you see like when you're dreaming about water, per se, when you're dreaming about water, a lot of times when you're dreaming about water, it tells you that somebody around you might be pregnant. If you touch it, it could be yourself that could be pregnant, or somebody very, very, very close to you. So double representations can take a lot of different types of levels and streams inside. So this is one of the reasons why you need to, and we'll have another show on the meaning of dreams, the meaning of dreams, and some of the specific definitions of some of the things that are inside your dreams. Like, some people dream about their falling, right? They're falling and they're falling and they're falling, and they don't know why they're falling, and then they suddenly wake up, right? A dream like that, very scary in itself, can mean that you feel as though there's certain things in your life that are out of control. It could be your finances. It could be a relationship. It could be, you want a better job and your job is out of control. It could be telling you, your subconscious mind is telling you, and begins to start trying to direct you into acknowledging the things that are around you that are out of control. And remember, your subconscious mind is programmable. And that's extremely important, because what you program into your subconscious mind, what you program into it, and what has already been influenced in it, is going to help you to be able to lead yourself to where you want to go. So I know a lot of people talk about the laws of attraction and everything like that, and we can have a show on that as well. But one of the most important things about you being able to be successful in your dreams, and we're talking about dreams as well, is being able to program your subconscious mind. So deep down in your subconscious mind, your dreams itself will be able to begin to start directing you towards the areas that you need to go, helping you to solve your life problems and giving you mental freedom for that. So this is one of the reasons why we dream. We dream so that we can be able to get a handle on some of the problems that we have. Another reason why we dream, again, is the review of what has been going on and processing things over the last 24 hours. Now, during the day, you're hit with thousands upon thousands upon thousands of images that you don't even realize. And when you talk about advertisements, you talk about TV shows, you talk about commercials, there's a lot of things that your mind is inputting and processing. It could be a billion calculations a second. The mind is one of the most powerful things in the universe, if not the most powerful thing in the universe. There is nothing that is able to surpass the human brain, although they're trying to. But when you begin to start having dreams of like the past 24, 48 hours, the mind right now and yourself is processing and making sense and bringing calm into your life so that you're able to process and look at things every single day. It's important for you to dream. And like I said, 95% of the people, when they wake up, they don't remember that they're dreaming. So I think everybody, mostly everybody dreams. Some people say, why don't I dream? A lot of it might be because you don't remember, right? You don't remember. But it's important that, we keep our mental state very clear of a lot of confusion, and there's confusion every day. So it's important that we keep our mental state, in a good state, a good positive state. And that anything that's negative, we try to deal with it right away. And a lot of times when things are so overwhelming, there's another reason why we dream. So then that way we can be able to process that out through a dream, through a lot of different other imageries, and then it's kind of a soft landing. And that's why it's very important to make sure that what you're putting into your system, is going to be positive, it's going to be good, and it's going to be mentally healthy and soulfully healthy for your being. Because you got to remember what you're connecting yourself to. Pineal gland will also help you connect yourself to it. And so it's really great about dreams. It's really interesting about dreams and why we dream. So we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to go through some of the phases of sleep. And we're getting into some universal definitions about what is dreaming and dream state. And again, why it's important to you. Want to take a ride? You're listening to Dark Matter Radio with your host, Ronnie McLean, on Blog Talk Radio. To reach Ronnie, log on to Blog Talk Radio, look up Dark Matter. You can reach Ronnie on Skype, or to the number that is provided. Dark Matter Radio. With your host, Ronnie